So in today's video we will be talking about theory of VPC in AWS. So IP addresses in AWS: IPv4 Internet Protocol version 4, 4.3 billion addresses. Public IPv4 can be used on the internet. EC2 instance get a new public IP address every time you stop it, then start it. Private IPv4 can be used on private networks LAN, such as internal AWS networking. Example 192.168.1.1. Private IPv4 is fixed for EC2 instances. Even if you stop them, Elastic IP allows you to attach a public IPv4 address to EC2 instance. Note: has ongoing cost if not attached to EC2 instance or if the EC2 instance is stopped. IPv6 Internet Protocol version 6, 3.4 into 10 to the power of 38 addresses. Every IP address is public, no private range. And here you can see an example of it. VPC and subnet primers. VPC, virtual private cloud, private network to deploy your resources, regional resource. Subnets allow you to partition your network inside your VPC availability zone resource. A public subnet is a subnet that is accessible from the internet. A private subnet is a subnet that is not accessible from the internet. To define access to the internet and between subnet, we use route tables. Internet gateway and NAT gateways. Internet gateway help our VPC instances connect with the internet. Public subnets have a route to the internet gateway. NAT gateway, AWS managed and NAT instances, self-managed, allow your instance in your private subnet to access the internet while remaining private. Network ELC and security group, NACL, network ACL. A firewall which controls traffic from and to subnet can allow and deny. Rules are attached at the subnet level. Rules only include IP addresses. Security groups: a firewall that controls traffic to and from and ENI and EC2 instance can have only allow rules. Rules include IP addresses and other security groups. Security group operates at the instance level. Supports allow rules only. Stateful return traffic is automatically allowed regardless of any rule. We evaluate all rules before deciding whether to allow traffic. Applies to an instance only if someone specifies the security group when launching the instance or associates the security group with the instance later on. Network ACL operates at the subnet level. Support allow rules and deny rule is stateless. Return traffic must be explicitly allowed by rules. We process rules in number order when deciding whether to allow traffic. Automatically applies to all instances in the subnets it's associated with. Therefore, you don't have to rely on users to specify the security group. VPC flow logs capture information about IP traffic going into your interfaces. VPC flow log, subnet flow log, Elastic network interface flow logs helps to monitor and troubleshoot connectivity issues. Example: subnets to internet, subnets to subnets, and internet to subnets. Capture network information from AWS managed interfaces to Elastic Load Balancer, Elastic Cache, RDS, Aurora, etc. VPC flow logs data can go to the S3 CloudWatch logs and Kinesis data firehose. VPC peering: connect to VPC privately using AWS network. Make them behave as if they were in the same network. Must not have overlapping CIDR IP address range. VPC peering connection is not transitive. Must be established for each VPC that need to communicate with one another. VPC endpoints allow you to connect to AWS services using private network instead of the public www network. This gives you enhanced security and lower latency to access AWS services. VPC endpoint gateway, S3 and DynamoDB. VPC endpoint interface, the rest. AWS private link VPC endpoint services, most secure and scalable way to expose a service to thousands of VPC. Does not require VPC peering. Internet gateway NAT route tables requires a network load balancer service. VPC and ENI customer VPC, site to site VPN and direct connect. Site to site VPN connect an on premises VPN to AWS. The connection is automatically encrypted, goes over the public network. On premises must use a customer gateway. AWS must use a virtual private gateway. Direct connect establish a physical connection between on premises and AWS. The connection is private, secure and fast, goes over a private network, takes at least a month to establish. AWS client VPN connect from your network using OpenVPN to your private network in AWS and on premises. Allows you to connect to your EC2 instance over a private IP just as if you were in the private VPC network. Goes over public internet transit gateway for having transitive peering between thousands of VPC and on premises. Hub and spoke star connection, one single gateway to provide this functionality. Works with direct connect gateway VPN connection.